Hi, I'm Mary and I'm with Chelsea Soap Garden, and I'm here today to show you how to make our hibiscus and lavender goat milk rebatch soap making kit. A couple things before you get started you want to have with you. One would be a Ziploc baggie with some durability to it because you're going to be putting it in boiling water. You want to have a spoon, a spatula, if you have it. This is a plastic scraper, paint scraper. You don't need it, but it does make it a lot easier. You also want to have a pair of rubber gloves that have some heat retardant to them. I mean, you're not going to be touching a boiling pan, but you are going to be touching a bag with hot soap. So let's get started. So I'm going to go ahead and take everything out and have it ready. Because the one thing about rebatch that is tricky is once your soap's melted, you really do have to move fairly fast. So I'm going to take everything out, go ahead and open it, and I'm going to go ahead and cut my vitamin E tablets ahead of time. If I'm going to be using them, again, you don't have to use them, but if you are, with some shipping paper, which is great to use to put down so you don't make a mess. So what I'm going to start with is opening up my shredded rebatch goat milk soap. Again, this is organic, SLES, and paraben free. If you choose not to add the fragrance oil, you would have organic soap. You could just use the essential and the almond or carrier oil, and you would have a 100% organic soap. So to start with, I'm going to dump this into my baggie, and I've been boiling water. There are other methods, but I think for somebody starting in soap making, this is one of the easiest. So you want to try to get most of the air out of the baggie. Go ahead and take your baggie and dump it into your boiling water. The soap is hot. And the thing with rebatch is there is no hard and fast rule about how long you have to heat it, what temperature you want to heat it at. It seems to be different every time I make it. It's more about the consistency you want to get it to. And unfortunately that's something you just kind of learn with time. But I'm going to do my best to show you how you want it to look. So I'm going to take my rebatch out that has been melting. And if you can see the bottom of this, kind of looks like more of a translucent, liquidy Vaseline. But you can see on the top here that it is still shredded. That has not melted. So what I'm going to do is push that down there, because obviously you want it to get all of it melted. Okay. And at this point I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit of my carrier oil. In this case I'm using apricot kernel oil. You could use your pipette for that, or you could pour it directly in. I would suggest using the pipette because you can't take it out once you add it. And when you add too much, it will not ruin your soap, but your soap will have to sit for up to a month to cure. So you really want to be careful how much you're adding. At this stage, instead of adding the apricot kernel oil or your sweet almond oil or whatever it is that you may be adding, you can also add goat milk itself. Actually, I prefer that. It gives it the moisture it needs, the liquidity, but doesn't add any more oil to it. So you can see it's already hardening up back here. Texture's already getting hard. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back in the water. Go ahead and put that down so it's ready. And again, I have all of my oils and dried botanicals open, ready to go. A couple seconds. You can see how much how much more liquefied it's become. I'm going to go ahead and add my botanicals at this point. One thing about rebatch soap, it does not take fragrance as well as melt and pour. So rule of thumb on melt and pour is a ½ an ounce per pound. On this I would probably add a little more. I'm going to use lavender flowers today, lavender buds, I'm sorry, for my botanical. This kit also comes with hibiscus. And again, you could use both, you could use neither. If this is soap you're making for your face, I would not suggest adding any type of botanical. It can be a little harsh on the skin, but for your body, go ahead and make sure I get that all the way through. I'm going to go ahead and add my vitamin E. And I've already cut these, so all I really need to do is squeeze the oil in. Some people just dump the vitamin E tablet in and let it melt. I just like doing it this way, it's a little faster. Now, as you're going, try not to get your soap up by the Ziploc top, because it can make it very difficult to close. So, I'll throw this back in here for a couple more seconds. Okay, so hopefully you can see this. It's very soft, it's almost perfect consistency. I'm going to go ahead and add my fragrance oil. And I added about 3/4 of that. And then I'm going to add my essential oil. I would suggest using the pipette for the essential oil, only because the essential oil is very strong. And if anything's going to cause the soap to seize, that would be it. So you're given 5 milliliters in this particular kit. I used about half of it. And this is where I really want to make sure I've got it really mixed in there really well. And you'll see as you're working with this, it starts to harden up very quickly. And once it's hard, you're not mixing anything. Even smell it to make sure you've got enough fragrance for you. And that is plenty for me. It smells great. You'll see the lavender essential oil is actually quite different scent than the fragrance oil. And again, you don't have to use the fragrance oil if you have real sensitive skin, and you just stick with the essential oil and the botanicals, not adding any color or fragrance oil to it. You do have all natural soap. I'm going to try to get this down one more time. And the next time I take it out, I'm going to go ahead and spoon two bars in to my mold, and then I'll go ahead and add the color. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and spoon this out. Again, you want to work quickly, because this does dry up very quickly. If you've ever worked with paraffin or wax, it's somewhat similar. Not quite that quick, though. And again, try to keep it off the Ziploc part, so I'm going to fold that down. And don't worry at this point, because you can always put it back in there if it's getting cold. It's getting too hard to work with, like this is already starting. So once you have it in there, take it on a hard surface and just bang it down. You can tell once it starts cooling, the color changes very fast. Okay, so I've got one. What I'm going to do is go ahead and put this back in. Let it heat up a little bit, because it's already starting to get a little hard to work with. And this will dry very fast. So if you want to flatten it out, do it right away. At the end, after this dries, if you don't like the way that looks, more of the natural kind of rough texture, you can always shave that with a soap cutter or a knife. If you're giving this as a gift and you want it to look more professional. I like the way that looks, but don't worry about it overflowing at that point. Hard right now. I'm going to go ahead and add my color again, a little bit at a time. You don't want to overdo it. You can see I've only got it filled to there, and I probably won't even add all that. Oh, I did. The thing about, don't add all of it, or you're going to end up with black soap. The thing about rebatch, the color is not going to blend like you think, like it does in a melt and pour. And you've really got to get it back down to a liquid state to get that in there. So I'm going to put that back in. Part with the color because it doesn't mix as easy. That's where this comes in real handy. You could also use a spatula. So you can see I've got it. Go ahead and push that down. As you can see the tan parts that have not gotten any color. Just use my fingers. Mix that up really well. And where you see tan or beige spots, just blend it real well with your fingers. Make sure you get that all mixed in there. And you can see I used a tiny bit of color, how dark this already is. Okay, so I'm going to put that back in there for a few seconds, and then I'm going to cut it and then squeeze it out. Start squeezing right away. Like I said, once it's cut, you cannot put it back in the water. Okay. By the way, our website is www.chelseasoapgarden.com, and we have more recipes and tips, and this video will be out there, along with our melt and pour video instruction. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut with my scissors. I'm going to go ahead and cut the corner of this, about 1 inch wide. So I'm going to take my scraper, start scraping that over towards it. Try to get like if you were doing frosting or something like that. See how it's in a big lump? And just start squeezing. Fast. Now I have quite a bit left. Probably have enough for another small bar. If you do, you can go ahead and add that into a Tupperware, anything you want. You can always throw it in the fridge, save it for the next time you make soap. At least overnight. I made a batch yesterday, which I'm going to show you how it looks. If you're letting this dry overnight, it should easily pop out, but if it doesn't, right before you're ready to pop it, throw it in the freezer for about 15 minutes, no more than 15 minutes. Try popping it, should pop really easy. A little bit as it dries. You can see the purple, how the purple turned out versus the natural. And because all of our soaps are small, you know, our base soap is handmade in small batches, colors may vary a little bit, but again, you can see the difference in there. If you're giving this as a gift, just a cute idea, it's real easy to do. Get some coffee filters. You could use white or clear, natural, brown craft paper. For the round, the coffee filters work great. They kind of follow the natural folds. Just put that in there, wrap it around. If you have a round sticker, you can buy these at any office store. Throw them in your computer, print happy birthday, congratulations. Throw that on there, and you have a cute little gift. You can also use brown craft paper tied with a jute string or a twine. Looks real cute. So, that's it. Thanks so much for joining us today. If you have any questions, please go to www.chelseasoapgarden.com, where we have more recipes and other instructional videos on how to make different things. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.